You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday, happy Moon Day, and welcome to Mercury in Taurus. That's what we're chatting about today. And it's a long Mercury transit. Remember, Mercury is the fastest moving planet in our solar system, but we do have a Mercury retrograde on the horizon. We have a few weeks till we really have to worry about it. And I say worry very loosely. But Mercury will go retrograde in Taurus. So get comfortable and get used to this energy. We're going to be here for a little bit. Today's energy is also extra intense because as Mercury moves into Taurus, Mercury is squaring Pluto. So we'll talk about that transit as well. If you're here with me live, say hey. I know we have Diane here. Nick is here as well. Hello to both of you. Happy Monday, Corby. Hey, Rachel. Hi, Elena. How's everyone doing today? Terry's here too. Hey, family. Love this. Hi, Jackie. Happy Monday to everybody. I have to share the birthdays of the day today because this is like peak Aries season right here. First of all, Alec Baldwin. Enough said. A little fiery, a little aggressive. Eddie Murphy, and Aries, just also main character energy, right? Aries, the first sign. It's like, I'm here. I've got stuff to do. Amanda Bynes is an Aries as well. Marlon Brando was an Aries. Paris Jackson, Kobe Smulders, Jane Goodall, Adam Scott, Doris Day. Wow, I hadn't even scrolled over. That was a lot of heavy hitters. Jenny Garth is an Aries too. Leona Lewis. They just keep coming. If you know anyone celebrating a birthday today, or if it's your birthday, let us know. We want to celebrate you. Because, of course, if you're part of this community, then you're more important to us than any of those celebrities like Eddie Murphy and Amanda Bynes, right? Sending air hugs all around. All right, let's get into the forecast, though. Current check on the energy. The sun is, of course, in Aries. The moon is in Virgo. This is the waxing gibbous moon. We're making our way towards Wednesday's full moon in Libra. So you might be starting to feel the energy build this week as we make our way towards that full moon. In fact, probably tonight, tomorrow night, when you look up in the night sky, the moon will look almost full. We're really feeling her magnified effects right now. Aw, Rachel says, I so needed the air hug. We are sending you love, Rachel. All right, speaking of Rachel and all of our other friends, myself included, who are ruled by Mercury, Virgo risings, and Gemini risings, today's energy probably feels very potent for you. Also, Scorpio risings, who are ruled by Pluto. Those are the two main characters we're talking about today. Let's start with Mercury moving into Taurus. So I will pull up the chart here. Let's make sure it's accurate. Sometimes it likes to lag behind on me a little bit. Okay, here's the current chart. And Mercury, you can see, where is she? He. If Mercury was a gender, I feel like it would be like they, them. I don't think it's gendered. I had a whole epiphany about genders and planets the other day. I won't get into that, but Mercury's over here, okay? 0 degrees Taurus now, and you can see that square to Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius too. So Mercury is going to be moving forward and backward through Taurus through June 11th. That's why I said we're going to be here for a little bit. So we might as well get comfortable in the energy of Mercury in Taurus. Coming out of Mercury in Aries, maybe you had a lot of ideas, you had a lot of fresh mental energy with Mercury and Aries, like, oh, I have this idea, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start this. Mercury and Taurus is an opportunity to slow down, especially with our mindset. It feels like the past couple weeks, I don't know about you, but there's been a lot going on in my mind. It's been a little much. And I personally am excited about Mercury moving into Taurus and just allowing us to sink a little deeper, make a little more sense of things. Taurus energy is very practical, being in an earth sign. Communication, the conversations we're having are likely going to be more pragmatic, more logical, more rooted, and maybe even a little bit slower. The pace at which we are communicating is certainly slowing down. We're also going to be slower to commit to plans. Mercury in Aries was like, idea, let's execute it. Let's put it into action right now. Mercury in Taurus is like, okay, let's have a conversation about it. Let's take some time to get comfortable with the idea, to reflect on our values. Is this concept or idea aligned with our values? Let's check our bank account too to make sure that we are knowing our worth, and if we execute this idea or have this conversation, it's going to be worth our time and energy. I feel like Mercury and Taurus, the concept of like time is money might come up as well too, just because Mercury is about filling up the calendar and setting the plans and talking to people, and you might find yourself a little impatient if you're in a conversation that you don't want to be in. Like, you know, Taurus is the bull, it's a little bit stubborn, but if we feel like our time is being wasted, aka our money and our resources, our time being our most precious resource, if we feel like that's being wasted, I could see getting a little more irritable, the inner bull kind of coming out, right? This is a really great time for decision making, if you ask me, before Mercury stations retrograde at least, because I feel like, again, we're tapped into our values. We're just a little more responsible, pragmatic, mature, maybe even a little overly careful with Mercury and Taurus. But the fact that we are moving at a slower pace makes me feel like this is a favorable time to make some decisions. Just don't be surprised if the decisions you make in the next 2 weeks or so are revisited during Mercury's retrograde in Taurus. So whatever's coming up mentally in conversation now over the next couple weeks will likely come back up during Mercury's retrograde and maybe come back up again when Mercury stations direct. So expect to have conversations multiple times over the next couple months, to revisit ideas multiple times. On a day like today, we're very eager to just make sense of things and make the decision and get to the bottom of it, as we'll discuss with Mercury squaring Pluto. But remember, regardless of what's happening in the next couple of weeks, it's probably going to be revisited. It's not the end of the story. Financial negotiations would be favorable with Mercury and Taurus as well, because Taurus rules money and physical resources, trading, bartering, making sure, is this item that I'm trading of equal value to the item that you are giving me, or the service, or whatever that may be. So I feel like that could be a great way to work with this energy. Again, we want to be mindful of the retrograde, not to say you can't negotiate or make decisions during retrograde, but I would avoid it personally, especially it depends on where it is in your chart. So this might be a great time, especially as we're going to talk about the next transit, to take a look. Where does 0 degrees of Taurus fall in your chart? What house does the beginning of Taurus start in? With Mercury retrograde in Taurus during Taurus season, this transit, the next couple of weeks, feel like they're giving us a little preview of what's going to be on our mind during Taurus season as well. What themes in our life are going to come up as we look at what area of our chart is ruled by Taurus. I think just a last little tidbit on Mercury and Taurus that's coming up for me is that it's easier to concentrate. It's easier to just, again, dig in and get to the bottom of things. It's that that bullish mindset of like, we've just got to finish. We've just got to keep pushing forward. So our mind is definitely strong. It feels like with Mercury in Taurus. Just also be mindful if stubbornness is coming up too, because that's certainly a shadow of Taurus. I literally had a whole conversation about like, what should I call? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, he's over there, or she's over here, like Venus, obviously a she, right? The moon, a she, the sun, a he. But I don't know. There's some planets like Uranus. Uranus is not subscribing to the gender binary, definitely a they, them. I will get off my random tangent though about genderizing planets. Yeah. Hi, Rose. Corby says, I'm actually feeling grounded and settled today, feeling the slowdown, don't feel like I need to rush. We've set the foundation now to slowly build and bud. Amen to that. Yes. We still have the fire of Aries season to work with too. So again, this is still a very potent window to start things. With Mercury and Taurus, we're thinking about, okay, do we have the resources needed to actually see this idea come to fruition, to support the birth of this concept, right? So we are a little bit more conservative, it feels like, with Mercury and Taurus, right? Mercury and Aries went by so fast. Of course it did, right? Thankful I was able to use the last bit of it to start my logo for astrology readings. So exciting, Rachel. I'm feeling slowed down today. Last few days felt very go, 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 do, do. Today was like, relax a bit. Well, it's funny you say that too, because, yesterday into this morning, Mercury was at the anaretic degree. So there is this like panic energy with Mercury and Aries at 29 degrees. Mercury and Taurus at 0 degrees right now. Still a little bit of eagerness, but definitely like, we got time. Okay, settle in. Yeah. Gaining a bit more clarity each day. Beautiful. The retrograde is slightly on my mind when it comes to the journals that Corby is creating. Taking things slow, though. There's no need for me to rush. And the retrograde could be an opportunity to edit, to finalize. I don't know exactly what your timeline is, but it's all perfect. It's all divine. The retrogrades are always opportunities to, go back, cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure everything's all good. Just realized Mercury goes retrograde the day before my Jupiter return. Mercury goes retrograde in a very potent moment, I will say. I'm pretty sure it is the first day of Taurus season. Hitting your 7th house. Love that. Yeah, beyond gender. Exactly. The Aries in me is still strong. Of course it is. I still feel like it's my birthday. It is your birthday. It's your season, Rose. Surrender to the shadows, Mercury moving through your 8th house. And, with today's energy, which we'll move into right now, it does feel very Mercury in the 8th house, as Mercury is squaring Pluto today. Oh, just read a whole book on Mercury retrograde. That's funny. Okay, so let's talk about Mercury squaring Pluto. As Rachel's bringing up 8th house energy, Pluto rules the 8th house. And both of these planets are at 0 degrees. And remember, 0 degrees is a critical degree. There's this sense of eagerness, like we just are so excited and ready to harness the energy of Mercury in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. But Taurus and Aquarius are both fixed signs, which means they clash with each other. Both of these energies are like, no, I'm in my energy and I'm not changing for anybody, right? Like Mercury and Taurus is like, I know what I know my worth, I know my values, I'm going at my own pace. Pluto and Aquarius energy is very, again, kind of fixed. Like, I'm going to be different. I refuse to conform to what other people want me to be. So we've talked about Pluto and Aquarius, and we won't go deep into that. If you are curious and you haven't seen the full episode we did on Pluto and Aquarius, I recommend going back to that. This square to Pluto, anytime a planet is squaring Pluto, it's a little intense. It's a little much, okay? Pluto's the planet of death and rebirth, and a square to Pluto feels like it's forcing us to either die or be reborn. It is like, I'm finding myself like not wanting to curse, but like shit or get off the pot. It's like, okay, are we doing this or are we not? And Mercury squaring Pluto gives us this really intense almost compulsion to like get to the bottom of things. Pluto wants us to get to the truth, especially with Pluto and Aquarius. It's like we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we want it right now. And we want to be in control of it. And we want to manipulate the situation in order to get to the truth. And Mercury and Taurus could be a little bit determined or pushy about it too. So noticing, witnessing yourself if you're like fixating on something or obsessing about something or trying to get to the bottom of something and asking, do I really need to know this right now? And what would happen if I just released the timeline and the need to know right now? Because again, that 0 degree square makes us feel like we got to get it all done right this moment. Like we only have so much time. We have more than enough time. We're going to be okay. So the other thing about Pluto is it definitely brings us into our shadows, potentially even our subconscious. Mercury squaring Pluto could be kind of a deep dive into the psyche. Thankfully, Mercury moves quickly. I don't think Mercury gets back to 0 degrees in its retrograde. So once it passes Pluto this one time, I don't think we're dealing with this again for a while. But it is an opportunity when we're in this state of like, okay, let's go, let's get to the bottom of things, maybe to pull out a journal or do some deep reflection today. If there's something you've been trying to figure out or get to the truth of, maybe you open up that problem and try to solve it again, but give yourself grace if the time is not now. Just again, this feels like it could really come up in interpersonal relationships, like forcing someone to have a deep conversation with you, like trying to, again, get to the truth and almost manipulating it to be your version of the truth, for it to conform to your energy and where you're at right now with this square playing out in fixed signs. I know I've been guilty of that, so there's no judgment ever here, but noticing if you are kind of trying to control a conversation or a situation. Trying not to be obsessive. You and me both. And again, I will say Gemini risings, Virgo risings, and Scorpio risings are going to feel this transit specifically probably the most intensely, because these are our ruling planets and they're battling each other. And lucky, if you got placements in both of those signs, heavy placements, lucky us, we're really feeling that deep introspection. There again is an element of like determination though, and like we are really down to go into transformation, and we're like, okay, we're activated, like it's a full-on intense alchemy process, so let's just dive right in right now. Let's just embrace it. So if you're looking to do some deep work, today could be the day to do it for sure. If you are looking to do some deep work, give yourself permission to do it. Just remember that people around you might not be at that same place as you, and trying to force them to come along a dark journey with you could lead to some power struggles or some conflict or some arguments under this transit. This was me yesterday. Took that energy and put it into my to-do list and my budget. Yes, a beautiful way to channel like, okay, I'm feeling like I can really concentrate on something or like obsess about something. If there's like a project you've been wanting to finish or take to the next step, or, just you have a lot of intense mental energy, how can you use that in a way that feels productive and is going to feel good for you? I've been doing the same thing with like a to-do list and really just using this determination to get some stuff done that I needed to get done, and still leaning into it. But if that's not feeling good for you, remember, you are your own best astrologer. Use your intuition as your own compass of what's going to feel like a good way to channel this energy. Your body already knows what it wants to do. Your mind might have a different story going on, but be the witness of all these parts of yourself. And that is kind of the energy of Mercury squaring Pluto, like seeing all the different parts of your psyche and being like, oh, okay, that's a little portal going deeper into myself when I see how these different characters are showing up within me. Really feeling this. Lots of breath work, Rachel says. Lots of rage cleaning. Another great way to use this energy. Everything will work out the way it's supposed to. At first I read that everything will look the way it's supposed to. I'm like, oh yeah, that's rage cleaning. No, everything will work out the way it's supposed to. Absolutely. Absolutely. Diane says, I learned years ago that asking others or waiting on others to grow or change is fruitless. They have to choose to do that when and if they want. We have to be the change we want to see. Yes, absolutely. You're all so wise. Okay, let's talk about the moon. So we have the waxing gibbous moon in Virgo, as I mentioned. Those of you who are talking about feeling grounded, the Virgo moon, Mercury moving into Taurus, there is a lot of earth energy coming online. So taking a look at the chart right now, of course, we have the moon in an earth sign, but we now have 4 planets in Taurus. So Taurus is kind of taken over right now. Remember, it's been a power-packed little stellium group of planets moving through Aries. Now we have the North Node in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus, Uranus and Venus, still within about 5 degrees of each other today. So we're still feeling those shifts and changes from the Venus-Uranus conjunction. Today's square between Mercury and Pluto could reveal like a deeper truth to those shifts and changes potentially, especially with this moving into Taurus. Yeah, a lot of fixed placements right now as well. Nothing clashing too much other than Mercury and Pluto. But coming back to the Virgo moon, the moon in Virgo, we're more aware of the details. Again, a really mentally active day because when the moon is in Virgo, we're processing our emotions through an analytical lens. Like, yes, we want to help other people and we want to be of service to others when the moon is in Virgo, but we also tend to be more critical because we notice the small movements going on around us. We notice the small, subtle shifts happening in our body and other people's emotions. We're just very perceptive when the moon is in Virgo. It is an earth sign. So again, coming back to grounding and all the connections the Virgo moon is making today happen to be to Taurus placements. So harmonizing with Uranus right now, actually, and then tonight, I think it's about 10 p.m., the moon will make a trine to Venus as well. So this is what the Virgo moon is doing today. Really just amplifying and balancing out these Taurus placements and really allowing us to flow. A trine is a flowing angle. So to stay grounded, but still allow for changes to happen with the trine to Uranus, to allow ourselves to be open to innovation, open to doing things differently, open to surprises even, or unexpected plans. With the trine to Venus late tonight, it does feel like the energy gets a little sweeter and easier as the day goes on, as Mercury starts to move away from that square to Pluto. And late tonight, that trine to Venus just allows love to come through easily. It allows pleasure to come through easily too, especially with Venus in the sensual sign of Taurus, the moon in the earth sign of Virgo. There's kind of like this physical love that's coming up, and that doesn't necessarily mean being sensual with someone else. It could be just taking the time to delight your own senses tonight as the moon harmonizes with Venus in Taurus, taking a nice bath, having an extra cozy blanket or sweatpants. It could be eating some comfort food. It could be also, giving your partner a massage or asking them to rub your feet or something like that. But pleasure, love, sensuality comes through really beautifully and really easily tonight. I do, again, want to just revisit the fact that throughout the day today, the moon and Uranus are connecting in that same flowing trine. So yes, changes are possible, but it feels like good fortune with this kind of connection. It feels like everything is kind of unfolding and happening naturally, even if it's a little shocking or surprising or a little out of our comfort zone. Sometimes our partner or those around us rise to meet. I see what you're saying. Rise to meet our energy. Sometimes they don't. Yeah, the Taurus energy is definitely more present for me right now, Rose says, spending a lot more time figuring out finances, investments. The Virgo energy is making me nitpick our budget, also cleaned a lot. Yes, cleaning, it does feel like rage cleaning does feel like it would be nice with the moon in Virgo. And it might even be during the trine to Uranus that you're craving a change, you're craving an upgrade, and simply clearing out your physical space in your house could actually help you flow some emotions or move some stuck energy. So if you're feeling like today it's a little much and you have some downtime, it's like, what is it? Idle hands are the devil's play. I don't really love that phrase, but doing something productive will feel good when the moon is in Virgo. Like Virgo energy, we love productivity over here, you know? So if you're feeling anxiety, definitely a byproduct of the moon in Virgo. Do some cleaning, do something productive, cross a few things off your to-do list. I promise, as a double Virgo, I can tell you it will make you feel better. Yeah, Nick knows what I'm talking about with all that Virgo energy. It's almost your season. It's almost Taurus season, Elena. I'm fixing a gourmet meal. Terry's calling in that Taurus energy for sure. Maybe even tapping into the energy of the Libra full moon too. Both Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, and both of these signs are very notorious for loving nice things, luxury, right? A gourmet meal that feels very Taurus though. Cozy blankets are the best. They definitely are. Even tidying and cleaning up my coworker's office. I love that. That is something I would do. Like every time I walk in, I would be the person if I had, well, I do technically have a coworker. We just both live here and work here. And I have given, he's got his own space. He's going to do his own thing. I've made peace with that. But I totally get it when it's like you walk into someone else's office and it gives you a little bit of like a panic. What's going on here? Is there an organization system? I am that person. I am definitely a neat freak when it comes to organization, not necessarily like cleanliness, but organization. Yes. Yes, Rose, making room for some more money. Exactly. Mercury squaring Pluto today too. It does feel like if you kind of purge or clear some things out with Mercury ruling our mindset, this is a great reminder that clearing out your physical space with Mercury and Taurus, the sign that rules the physical, like can clear out mental space too, can clear out room for us to call in more of what we really want and more of what's aligning with our values right now. Look at that, Nick did some filming this past week, trying to finish the end of his movie, almost all edited together. Feeling need to get it done or it won't get done. I get that too. I definitely get that. All right, let's come back to our affirmation of the day, which is I'm willing to dig deeper. With all of this determined, introspective, and kind of intense energy, just the willingness to be like, that was an intense emotion. Let me dig a little deeper and see where did that come from. Just having the curiosity and willingness to go deeper into yourself, to go deeper in conversation with other people if they are willing and on the same page, right? Again, not forcing anybody, but being willing to just dig a little deeper. Even in conversation, maybe being willing to dig a little deeper in yourself and have a little more patience with other people, or understand that just because someone isn't sharing everything that's going on with them doesn't mean there's not depth there, right? So just holding space for other people to go deeper into themselves and doing the same, of course, for yourself first. Okay, and we're going to finish up with a card pull from the Yogic Path. I haven't pulled from this deck in a long time, and I was really feeling into the Taurus energy, and a Yogic Path came through. I also took an Ayurveda workshop yesterday, so I've been really feeling the Ayurveda vibes. I love how this deck also says, this is by Sahara Rose, by the way, may these cards bridge you to your highest self. May they bridge us. All right, this is your opportunity to ask any final questions, share any final insights. Oh, Terry, you are so sweet. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's going to be a good week, you guys. I feel it. I feel like it's going to be a really good week. We've got a full moon in just 2 days. A lot is being illuminated. And it's interesting that we have this transit today, Mercury squaring Pluto, that kind of takes us deeper into our shadows. But we're also coming into a full moon, which is very illuminating. So sometimes we have to be willing to like open that dark door in order to shine some light in, if you catch what I'm saying. Oh, thank you, Terry. I'm really so glad you found us here. I'm so grateful to be able to be a messenger from the planets for you and give you a space to reflect on how you're feeling and what's coming up for you. Thank you. All right, let's all take one nice big deep breath together, the deepest breath you've taken all day, the gift you can give to yourself in this very moment, breathing from the bottom to the top. And then as you exhale, sending energy, sending light into the card deck, asking the universe, what do we need to know? All right, here we go. Breathing in. Hold it. And release. What do we need to know? Now you'll have to forgive me because these cards, I believe, are all in Sanskrit, so I will probably butcher how I'm saying this. Sanskrit is not my native tongue, but it says Sahasrara. So I'll just tell you what it means, okay? It's actually, it looks like an Ayurvedic term. So let's see. This guidebook also takes me a second to navigate because I don't know any of these terms. Well, I know a few. Okay. Do we have a table of contents here? Diane says, I feel like this week holds good fortune. Feels like promise right around the corner. Yeah, we were just saying too that driving around Sacramento yesterday, it just felt like spring is here, at least where I live. So that was beautiful. I am so ready for spring. It's been a long winter here in Sacramento. Okay, I swear I'm going to find this card. It's coming. I might have to flip through every single page in this guidebook, but I will find it eventually. It's not in alphabetical order, you guys. Well, it kind of is, but I'm looking at a foreign language here. Am I regretting my decision? We just need to get to what the heck this card means. There's no other word on the card other than the name of it. I'm literally going through page by page. It has to be in here somewhere, right? This is fun. It's like some ASMR action. Just listening to me flip through this book. Here it is. Okay, it translates to the crown chakra. That is what this word translates to. So let's find out what it means. You may have noticed intuitive rushes of creative wisdom channeling through you, lighting up your every cell. That is called a download, and it's a message from the divine selected to come to you because you have the potential to birth it on this planet. These downloads occur only when the crown chakra is open, which may only be a few seconds, but it is enough to illuminate a path that you never knew possible. Find what brings you to these channeling states and bring yourself there as much as possible. Whether it's through meditation, walking in nature, singing, or writing, the absence of the mind allows the genius of the divine. Ooh, those intuitive hits chose you. Now it's your time to birth them to life. Okay, I love this card now that we found what it means. Really asking us to tap into practices that open the crown chakra. So as it mentioned, meditation. And I love this line. The absence of the mind allows the genius of the divine. I love this as Mercury moves into Taurus because Taurus is all about the physical senses. And even the suggestions here, meditation, walking, singing, writing, I'll throw dancing in there because I'm always an advocate of dancing. But sometimes allowing ourselves to be immersed in our other senses, not just our thinking mind, can allow for our crown chakra to open and for these ideas to come through. So really leaning into your senses with Mercury and Taurus and perceiving through your senses, allowing energy to move through you as you move your body, as you immerse yourself in a comfortable environment, and just finding states that allow your mind to relax a little bit. That feels like the medicine of Mercury and Taurus is finding a comfortable mental state so we can open the crown chakra, so that we can be receivers of cosmic codes, divine downloads, all that good stuff. Look at that. Rachel has intuitive dance tonight. So perfect. A great way, if you ask me, to open yourself up. Yeah, Sanskrit is one of the world's oldest written languages. I know. Pretty sure next week we're getting warm weather, like warmer weather. It's starting to warm up. I wrote that down. Yeah, I want to read it one more time. The absence of the mind allows the genius of the divine. The absence of the mind allows the genius of the divine. Yeah, I've been feeling it too lately, Diane. All right, everyone. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits Today. Tomorrow we'll chat about Mars and the North Node, I believe. Yes, they'll be coming into a sextile. So that's something we're starting to feel today a little bit. But in short, the actions we're feeling called to take intuitively, as this definitely brought up our intuition and listening to it, are supporting our walk towards our highest path. So we'll chat more about that tomorrow. And then we have the full moon on Wednesday that we'll dive into. I hope you're all having a beautiful start to your week. I want to thank you all so very much for being here, for joining me every day I can be here, for sharing your insights, for being active participants in these live streams. I'm so grateful you continue to show up for yourselves first and foremost, but also to show up for each other and give each other positive encouragement and love. You always restore my faith in humanity when I sometimes think we're a little lost. So I love knowing that there are beautiful people out there, and thank you for all showing me that every day. Thanks for being here. And I'm so excited it does feel like there's good fortune around the corner. Spring is springing. Denise had a vivid dream about dancing early this morning. And I'm ending my week with some dancing at Goddess Night Out. So you know it's going to be a good week. We got something good to look forward to. Not sure what time I'll be on tomorrow. We've got a lot going on this week, but I should have time to check in with you all. Again, just appreciate you holding space for me and allowing me to kind of shift. As I mentioned on Friday, I think a few things in my life are starting to shift a little bit. So we'll have more announcements about that in the coming weeks. All right, sending so much love right back to you, and I will see you all when I see you next. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.